Hello guys, welcome back into a new video. As you can imagine, this time you will not watch a vlog of me biking around the entire city and showing you cool things, but it's still a Amsterdam related video because today I will talk about my 2 months here in Amsterdam because yes, are currently 2 months that I'm living here, so I wanted to share with you my journey here in Amsterdam, and I will go to answer to a few questions that people asked me and also some common questions that I wish I knew before moving here. Let's take your popcorn, let's take your yogurt bowl and your beer, your cup of wine. Let's take wherever you want. Let's relax. If you are watching me, hi. If you're just listening me, hi. Anyway, I'm doing like I'm moving my hand to say hi. The first question is why Amsterdam? Okay, to answer to this question, I need to start from the beginning. So, after Argentina, that was a wonderful experience of my life. I think that most wonderful experience of my life. I came back to Italy. And the plan was to come back to Argentina once again because I genuinely loved that experience. And I really think that Argentina is like my place. I don't know. I really imagine myself living there, and I don't know, I feel an Argentinian boy inside me in some way. But when I come back to Italy, unfortunately, I broke up with my... No, why am I laughing? There is nothing to laugh about. Anyway, I broke up with my boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. So I was like, okay, now I don't have any plan. And I didn't want to stay in my hometown because the opportunities there were zero. So I was like, okay, let's just stop for a second. Let's use what is happening in my life now to go through these past months because I experienced a lot of stuff. I quit the job, I left my house in Rome, and I was like, okay, let's write a white paper, like let's rebuild a new life. I knew for sure that I didn't want to stay in my hometown, so the options were two: coming back to Rome or moving in another country. At the end, I decided that I didn't want to come back in Rome because I was feeling that I already experienced everything in Rome. I studied there. I went to live alone for my first time in Rome, and I was like, okay, I think that I'm done in this city. Let's move on. Let's build a new life, a new experience. And with my last job in the company, I was so lucky because I traveled a lot, and more or less there were few places that I really loved and I always imagined myself living there. But Amsterdam was the only place that really, I don't know, captured my attention. When I came here for the first time, I really, before leaving the city, looked for everything I needed to live here. I was really thinking to quit everything and move here. And I knew that was so fucking difficult find a place here. So I was like, okay, maybe you can move in another place where it's easier finding a place and settling. But I was like, no. I cannot imagine myself in this moment in a different place. I imagine myself just in Amsterdam. And I don't know why, but I was sure of this decision. Like something was calling me. Okay, I need to follow my instinct. If I want to move to Amsterdam and I feel so loud, this voice inside myself telling me you need to move there, I need to move there. So I started to look like a desperate a place. So I will now connect with the other question, that is, how did you find your place? I watched a few videos on YouTube about how to find a place here in Amsterdam, and a lot of people were recommending websites like Kamernet, Rentola. I just used Kamernet as a website, and the reality is that yes, there are a lot of rooms and studios and houses there, but for my personal experience, I sent 100, maybe more messages to this announcement, and I just got an answer from 10 places. You have to consider yourself lucky, for my experience, if you get an house on Kamernet. So I switched to the Facebook groups, and I think that this is actually my favorite one to look for an house. But attention, you need to pay a lot of attention to the scam, because there are a lot of scam, and this is an alert. Never, and I say never, pay someone in advance, or at least without even seeing the house, because there are a lot of scam, and I went through a lot of scam. Fortunately, people already alert me. The Facebook groups, yes, I think that is actually a good way to look for an house, but I didn't find my house with the Facebook groups. I was like, okay, let's try the last option, and was writing to the only person that I knew here in Amsterdam. There was this girl that is my actual roomie. So I wrote to her, and she told me, oh, good luck. Here is a mess finding a house. It sucks. I cannot help you at the moment because I don't know anything about someone that is renting his room. And if I will know something, I will let you know. So a few days later, I had the call with my therapist, and I was feeling a little bit down because I was like, I cannot even see myself as a dancer anymore, because here in my hometown, I'm not able to go in a studio and dance. I was losing the perception of me as a dancer. And I remember that I told my therapist, if in the next call you will see me in this room, I will need help, because I don't want to stay here. I closed the call, and after the call with my therapist, I grabbed my phone and I received the message from Roberta, that is my actual roomie, telling me, like, you cannot believe it, this is insane, but my roomie just told me that she will leave for 3 months, so you can come here and you have a room for 3 months. I wrote to this girl, and in literally 10 minutes, I booked a flight and I blocked the room. I know that I've been super lucky, because in 2 weeks, I actually found a place, and it's a cute one, it's a good one, and I'm so lucky that I've been here, but we will talk about this later. I really recommend you to post an Instagram story and tag people that you know here in Amsterdam, because I think that this can actually really work. Maybe you will be lucky and someone will have a place. In this moment, I'm not lucky because I'm still looking for a long-term place. I use this video once again to do another announcement. If you guys know about anything, please let me know, because I'm desperate. Okay, let's go to the third question. That is, how much the rent costs here. It's a very expensive city. I think that is very expensive. And also the rent is very expensive. So if you're thinking to move here, you should at least have some saving, because if not, it's so difficult. And also the majority of the houses, actually I think all the people ask for a deposit. So you pay the first month of rent and you pay a deposit that usually is another month, or even 2, or even 3. So you should definitely have some saving if you want to move here. Then eventually you will get a good job and maybe everything is balanced, but at the beginning can be a little bit difficult. I wrote here a question that a friend actually did to me, and I think that it is a very interesting question, and is, which was the first thing you did when you arrived. And as I told you, I was losing the imagine of myself as a dancer. So the first things that I did is booking a ballet class. I think that I went to a dance class the morning after I arrived here, and was so refreshing and was definitely what I was needing, because after that class I remember that I thought, okay, I'm still a dancer. I can still dance, and this is just the beginning. I was feeling so relieved after that class, because I was like, okay, I'm still able to dance, and yes, I'm a dancer. I'm here, and now I can really try to realize all the dreams that I had for my entire life. I think that this is the perfect city if you want to be a freelancer, because you can join to a lot of different classes and you can experiment a lot with the dance. And in general, it's a city full of heart. Like, for me, it's so inspiring. Even just biking around the city, looking around, and I feel so inspired, because it's a wonderful city, and if you want, there is a lot of heart that you can actually see. Here I also wrote cafes, cool places, and cool people, and I suppose that I wanted to talk about how all these things are very cool, because there are a lot of cafes, and I've been to a lot of cafes, and in my maps on my phone I have a lot of places that I saved. And yes, I think that is the perfect city to romanticize your life, because you can go to an aesthetic, a cute cafe, and get the most delicious pastries in your life. And there are a lot of cool places, and I think that it's also very easy to meet people and to establish connection with people here. Like, I remember that the first days that I moved here, I went out alone, and was not so difficult, like having a conversation with someone, chatting with someone. It's a very international city, so it's very easy to meet people. For me, it's also super inspiring seeing how well dressed are the people, because in my hometown, I think that I was one of the most stylish boy. Yes, I know that is very selfish to say something like this, but come on, I live in a town with 4,000 people, and a lot of them are old people. So it's not that difficult to be the coolest there. So I was not feeling the effort to build a good outfit. Here, everyone are cooler than me. This inspires me a lot, because I don't know, I see how someone is dressed while I bike. This is a cool idea. I have something similar. I can try out something. And I don't know, I think that is very inspiring also in the fashion world. Like, you can take a lot of inspiration for people, because here the people are very cool and they dress so well. Okay, let's move on to the next point. That is the bike. If you live in Amsterdam, you must have a bike. I got my bike, I think, after a week that I moved here. And the easiest way for me, and also Gianmarco, my friend and roomie, because he doesn't want that I call him roomie, because we are actually now friends, recommended me Swap Fits. Is this app where you can rent a bike. So you pay like 20 euro for month, and you have your bike. And I think that is the easiest way to have a bike, and it's also very comfortable, because if you have a problem, you can just go to a store and they will fix you this problem. If you are new here in Amsterdam and you are looking for a bike, maybe Swap Fits can be the perfect temporary option. If you find a very cheap and convenience bike, of course it's better if you will buy one. I didn't buy my own bike yet, but I'm planning to do it. It's so beautiful biking. I bike almost every day with the rain, with the wind. With the wind is a little bit more difficult, and of course if it's raining a lot I will use the transportation. I think that I bike the 80% of my days. It's so wonderful putting your headphones, choosing your favorite playlist, and romanticize your life while you bike around Amsterdam and you looked around all the canals and all the boats and all the people, because here if you ever came to Amsterdam, you should know that here the Dutch people are used to don't have curtain. So I know that maybe I'm not allowed to look through the windows of the people, but for me it's like a very cozy things to do. I really love looking into the windows of the other people, and I don't want to spy them. It's just my way to romanticize my life and imagining like, oh, there are two old men drinking 2 glasses of wine. I imagine myself in this way in 80 years, or maybe, I don't know, there is a couple that is hugging each other. And I don't know, I really like looking into the life of the other persons and romanticizing it. The weather was actually the only thing that was scaring me to death before moving here, and all the people that I was talking with about my idea of moving here to Amsterdam were saying to me, or I could never live in a city like Amsterdam because it's always raining and it's always super gray and the people are so sad because of the weather. I was actually super scared about it because I'm Italian and I live in the south of Italy and I'm used to live close to the sea, like 5 minutes by bike. And I loved Argentina also for the warm weather. But I don't know, as I said, I just felt this imprinting with Amsterdam and nothing was able to scare me and was able to make myself change my idea about me moving here. I don't care. Let's go, let's try, let's check by myself if it's really in this way. Of course, was true, and I knew that was true. I feel to say there is not that bad how people describes it. Also, I didn't experience yet the super cold weather that I know that will arrive in January, February. For now, I can handle it. Yes, it's currently super cold, but if you dress up well and with warm clothes, you should be okay. What I'm trying to doing is pretending that it's not that cold. Even if it's freezing, I don't want the weather stops me to do something. Like, okay, it's cold, I will dress up with the warmest clothes that I have, and I will not decline that invitation just for the weather. I think that the cold weather and the raining can also be a cozy plan. Like, for example, yesterday we spent a cozy night with my friends. We ordered Chinese food and we watched a movie. We project a movie here on the wall. Also, with the cold weather, you can do a lot of cute plans. Oh, another remind for you, if you will move here, you should definitely start to take supplements, and I'm taking the vitamin D. This is science. The sun doesn't hit how it does in other city. For sure, you take less sun of the amount of sun that you should take. So you need supplements, and I think that everyone's here take the vitamin D. Okay, let's move to the other point, and here we will open an entire chapter. Like, this is the chapter 2 of this episode, and we will now spend a little bit of time talking about the job, how is finding a job here. I will talk about my working experiences here that they are super funny, and also I cried sometimes. I will at the end tell you about the work situation where I am now after 2 months. Let's start this second chapter. How is finding a job here? Finding a job here, I think that is very easy. It's very easy getting a common job like in a cafe or in a restaurant. It should not be that difficult. Of course, it needs a bit of commitment and a bit of effort. For example, I started to bring all my curriculums in stores in the center, store of clothing like Uniqlo, Zara, Bershka, Adidas, Levi's, brands like this, and I physically went into the center and I went into the store and I left my curriculum. Few stores of them later reached out with me and they declined, or some of them invited me for a job interview. But yes, basically I went physically to look for a job, and in Indeed and LinkedIn. And I did one job interview for the social hub that is like a student housing restaurant, cool place. You should know the social hub. I did a job interview with a restaurant cafe. That is the cafe where I'm actually working. I also had a job interview with a vintage shop, and I had this job interview with a kind of agency. They were calling me when places were needing people to work. This is actually the first experience that I had as a worker here. Actually not, I'm lying, because when I moved here, I knew a choreographer that is actually my friend, one of my friends, and she has a daughter, so she was needing a babysitter for a daughter. So the first job that I had here is being a babysitter, and I generally enjoyed being a babysitter. I really loved being with kids, and this daughter is 9 years old, so was not so complicated to handle. Then I had this job interview with this agency. The first experience that I had with this agency was in a wedding party. Like, they literally sent me into this private event. It was a wedding party, and basically for the entire night I served and spilled beers for Dutch drunk people. The majority of them, they were super nice and super kind with me, but there were also some older people that was refusing to talk with me in English, which I can understand. Like, I can understand Dutch people that don't want to speak English. Totally understand it, but I was like, you cannot yell at me if I don't understand you. Okay, this is a fun fact. With this agency, once I booked a double shift, because you have an app on your phone and you can apply for like a shift, and the shift doesn't have to be in the same place. By mistake, once I booked a double shift. I worked first in the catering of a bank, and after the first shift I went to work into this huge hotel, and there was a festival there, and it was full of people, and I was so tired, so overwhelmed, because I was working since 8 in the morning and was like 10 in the night, 10 p.m. And I was like, oh, guys, I cannot handle this anymore. Don't take me as an example, because I'm a bad example. I fake that I was sick. So I went to the supervisor and I told her, I'm so sorry. I don't know what is happening, but my stomach is hurting so bad, and I've tried to do my best. I also worked 5 hours of the second shift. And I didn't totally fake it, because actually I was not feeling so good, And the day after I was really sick. That was not that bad, like I really exaggerated my feelings. That was my last time that I worked there. And then they offered me this contract in this super cool restaurant and cafe. I really love that place, and it's a place that is in my saved on the maps. I don't want to be misunderstood. I already talked about this in this video. I think that being a waiter teaches you a lot of things. You have a lot to learn, and I'm actually learning a lot. Now I can really see the whole picture, and I know that I'm learning a lot working in this restaurant, and I'm super glad. But I also know myself. I describe myself as an artist. Yes, I'm an artist. Why I have to be scared to say it? I'm an artist. I'm a dancer. So I don't feel that I completely fit in this job. I'm trying to take all the good, because yes, now I know the difference between a cappuccino and a flat white, and I know the differences between all the different coffee, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm surrounded by a lot of very kind people. But yes, I know that I will prefer being a dancer, and I have better dreams for me. And I'm not saying that it's horrible being a waiter. I want to dance. Maybe another person dreams to be a waiter, and that's okay. In the meantime, I also sent an application for a Pilates studio. They selected me to do this audition, and they chose me to work with them. But before starting to work with them, was necessary doing 1 month of training, and this is what I'm actually doing. I'm working in this cafe slash restaurant 3 days for weeks, and other 2 days for weeks I'm doing this teaching training. At the beginning of December I should start to teach in this Pilates studio, and I'm super glad because I love this job. It's super interesting to me because I really love working with my body, and for my entire life I did Pilates and I trained myself because it's very helpful also in the dance world, sometimes as a warm-up before a show. Anyway, in general, I'm a person used to work out, so for me it's wonderful being able to work with my body, and I'm so glad of this position. And it's actually a good position because it's well paid, and of course in the meantime I schedule all the dance classes in the morning where I can. Sometimes my schedule can be overwhelming and super busy, but I still manage to do it. It's normal. You have to give yourself time. If you just moved in another country, in another city, give yourself time, but at the meantime you have to be active. If you stay on your couch, nothing will come to you. You need to act. You need to bring the curriculums, you need to look for a job, you need to work on yourself, you need to do something. My issue is that I want everything immediately, and I'm now understanding that is not possible, this. But I think that this is a good thing, because these issues of me is pushing me to do a lot, to arrive in a faster way to that point. And I've also been super lucky because I found my roomie that is now my friend. He lives here since 5 years, so he really guided me, and I think that we accelerated the process of the settling here. It's just the 2nd month that I'm here, and I already have a good job. With the house, we are still working on it. Let's talk about the house. I'm looking every day, multiple hours for day for a place, and I don't want to lose my hope. I still have 1 month to find an house. I actually had 3 views of the house in this past month. I've been to a view, in this very wonderful house, but was a bit far away. But I was still interested in this house because the rent was not that high and the people that were living there were super cool. But at the end, they selected another person. So good for you. You got your house. You've been lucky. Then I've been to another view and I'm still waiting for an answer. They should let me know today or tomorrow. At this point, I think tomorrow. And I really have my finger crossed for this house. Is the one that I went to see in the last vlog that I posted. I will leave the vlog here somewhere. I really hope for the house because I really had a very, very, very strong connection with the people that were living there. And in this house there is also a dog, which I love because I can cuddle the dog and it's kind of therapeutic for me. I don't know. I really love it. And also in this house, the rent will be wonderful because it's not that high. Actually, it's super cheap. And then the other day, I went to this other view and was super random. They just told me, we are doing an open view. And I never been to an open view. Open view is when all the people that are invited to that view go there in the same time. And was 10 minutes by bike from this house. So I literally took my bike, went there. The house was so small that there were other 4 people inside and was almost impossible going from a room to the other room. And I really went from one room to the other one. I had a super short conversation with the tenant of the house and then I left. In half an hour, I did everything, but at the end I didn't apply for the house because it was quite expensive and was very, very small. And that's it, guys. I think that I updated about my 2 months here in Amsterdam. I want to close this video answering to the question that my dad did to me yesterday. And he asked me, are you happy? I just said to him, yes. But after I closed the call and I was like, okay, but I didn't tell him why I'm happy. My dad will never watch this video. I know. I'm happy because in this month I did a lot of therapy and I went through a lot of things. Like the 2025 for me was crazy. I felt like I lived 3 different lives in just 1 year. I lived in Rome. I quit my job. I moved to Argentina. I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. I was stuck in my hometown. I decided to move here. So I know that I went through a very complicated year, but anyway, it was the best year of my life because I feel that I've grown a lot as a person. I feel so more mature now, and I think that I matured a lot of stuff. I'm proud of myself and how I handled this situation and how I transformed a sad moment into something new. You should take the sad moments as a good things because these moments are actually the moments that push you to do something more because you don't want to be sad for your entire life. It's okay to be sad, and actually it's wonderful to be sad. Will not be normal if you are not sad, but you need to use the sad moment to allow yourself to grow. I did a lot of therapy and I recommend to you to go to a therapist. I think that everything happens for a reason, and in this moment I feel exactly where I'm supposed to be. I cannot imagine myself in another different place in this moment. I don't know. I really believe in the signals that the universe sent to us. Since I moved here, I received and I saw a lot of signals that someone, the universe, I don't know, is sending to me. And I received a lot of positive energies. And so, yes, I'm happy and I'm glad of having the possibility of living this life. Thank you so much for the support, because in this little channel we are growing a little bit. So I never imagined also to reach this point. There is nothing, I know. Can you imagine a room full of 1,700 people? Like, it's a lot of people, everyone in the same room. This is already a lot, and I'm so grateful for this. So thanks to you guys to support me, and to all the beautiful comments that you always leave below my videos, because they also bring me a lot of joy. And I know that this is worth it, because I don't get paid by YouTube yet, but for me, reading those comments is the most wonderful salary that I could receive. Of course, if at some point YouTube will start to pay me, of course, we will not throw in the trash the money. But I really appreciate the support that you are sending to me and the community that we are building. I'm talking a lot. Thank you guys. Let me know if you liked this video, and if you didn't like, don't worry. Next week I will upload a new vlog here in Amsterdam. I'm full of plans, because some friends of my friend Gianmarco will come to visit us, so we planned a lot of stuff. Thank you for hanging out with me, and we will see in the next video. Bye.